This is kind of an unorthodox tuning setup, but it's something I'm trying out. I've got a microphone with a preamp, so it's line level, running into channel 1, as you can see, a little bit of waveform on there, channel 1 of the scope. And then on channel 2, out of the function generator, I've got a 440 hertz sine wave, which is my reference to the international standard A440. Then in addition, I've got the mic also split off and running into the frequency counter, you can see it's on, into the function generator. And I got my little tuner here for a reference, the regular everyday chromatic tuner. And you'll be able to see the waveform that I'm playing on here, and you'll also be able to see some of the difficulties I've been having triggering off of it, both because of different amplitudes, even when you're playing kind of the same volume, and for different harmonics being so high that it's got a very narrow band to trigger off the fundamental tone versus the harmonic. And you'll see, even when I can get a lock on this, it won't always show up on the function generator's frequency counter because it's not quite set right, even though the trigger level on both, you can see, is set to 320 millivolts. There you go. So let's play some notes. This tone should be 220 hertz, so if I can get it to line up here, and this one usually does line up well, you'll be able to see the period is twice as long. So you can see when I'm right up and lined up in tune and it's triggering properly, you don't get any motion between waveforms. And you can see also that changing the timbre of the sound affects the shape of the waveform and the harmonics that are over it. And if I'm playing sharp, then the purple waveform, the reference tone, slides this way, and if I'm playing flat, it slides this way. And that one works triggering-wise relatively well. The other octaves, which should be based off the same one, I'll be playing the 110 hertz, and actually you can see on the frequency counter it was actually picking it up when I was playing. The 110 hertz octave, the A below that, has a little bit more trouble getting picked up. Kind of get it sometimes, and you can see the frequency counter did manage to pick that up a few times. And then the octave above has a similar problem. This is actually should be 440 hertz, the same period as the reference tone in the background. But typically, the difference between the fundamental and the first harmonic is so small in amplitude that it's actually really difficult for me to line it up right with that trigger level to get it to trigger properly, and it's going to be difficult to find the 440 on there. See, as the lower I come, the closer to actually in tune I get, the higher that second harmonic gets relative to the first, and then it just gets harder to trigger off of. Nearly impossible to get a 430 hertz lock. Now I can adjust the trigger level and get it to a better place where I'm playing the note at a more comfortable amplitude, and I have a little more control over getting those peaks separate. But as I try to adjust the volume that I'm playing at to change the amplitude on the screen, the harmonics adjust because that's kind of the way the instrument's coloration works. And it's really hard to line up. So if you have any ideas of how I can figure out how to trigger off this, or what kind of circuit I need to build to stick on the front end to even things out so that I'm always triggering off the fundamental tone and not the harmonics, I'd like to hear it. Thanks.